Elon Musk and 50 Cent have just released information that's causing serious disruption across the industry, and here's the unexpected part. Diddy may not be the one at the center. He's being described as the distraction, not the final player. If you've been focused only on him, you may have been following the wrong trail. This time, it's more than speculation. Elon holds something 50 doesn't: access to data, documentation, and years of private direct messages from the Twitter era, now known as X. Information like that has the power to shift the entire story overnight. That's why people are now outlining this situation like a pyramid. At the base, names like Jay-Z and Beyoncé. In the middle, industry gatekeepers such as Oprah Winfrey and Clive Davis. And at the top, a single figure some believe connects everything, operating openly yet unnoticed. And it doesn't stop with music studios or executive offices. The discussion extends into influence, public image, and even religious spaces. 50 Cent has been suggesting this angle for months, so this conversation is only building.
I believe that they gave me a raw deal because this fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks, and I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster. When I quit the show, all my friends would say, well, fuck them, Dave. Why don't you just do Chappelle's show at another network? Yeah. And why doesn't a slave run from one plantation to another plantation because the master over there might be nicer? My God, man, I was trapped. You know what, tell you the truth? I've even thought about coming back and doing another Chappelle show. Well, but if I do, I can't call it Chappelle's Show because my name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe. It's in the contract.
Before moving higher, it's important to understand this point. The Diddy situation reaches far beyond hip-hop. And no, this isn't a biography breakdown. This is about the reason people clicked. 50 Cent released his Diddy documentary, The Reckoning, presenting it as something others in the industry were unwilling to do. His message was direct. Silence makes the entire culture appear involved, so he chose to speak. This is where the claims become more serious. One major allegation circulating is that Diddy allegedly had a large number of concealed cameras inside his home, reportedly hundreds, capturing events from private after-hours gatherings. Commentators like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal discuss it as more than entertainment. They describe it as leverage material, used as protection and control, a quiet method of keeping people compliant. Now, there are rumors that these recordings are being discreetly moved, while well-known names grow concerned. So why does Elon Musk shift the balance? Because he owns X, placing him over a platform that contains years of private exchanges between celebrities, politicians, and influential figures. When Elon appeared on Joe Rogan's show, he didn't just suggest this, he pointed out the difference between public statements and what wasn't said when it actually mattered. Jennifer Lopez, not as a political discussion, but as a question of credibility. If someone was that close during that time, where was the warning? Where was any alert? His implication was that there wasn't one. That moment triggered widespread debate because it raises a difficult question. If someone was close and said nothing, what does that mean? Either they didn't know, which many find unlikely, or they knew something and remained silent. And if they stayed silent, the next question follows naturally. Why? Was it fear, loyalty, image protection, or something else? And if protection was involved, who was being protected? Now we move upward. The first level includes Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And if that sounds low on the structure, keep watching.
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing. I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through. That changes now, Sean. You have no choice. That Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter. They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly.
Jaguar Wright appeared in an interview with Piers Morgan and made claims she says she was never meant to make about Jay-Z, Diddy, in the depth of their connections. Afterward, people online claimed the episode was quickly removed, difficult to locate, and quietly buried. She also revisited a long-standing question: how Jay-Z could appear with Gayle King on CBS without being challenged on persistent rumors in industry relationships. Jaguar used strong language, labeling Diddy and Jay-Z as destructive figures, and describing their influence as something that has weighed on the industry for decades. She then brought up the Aaliyah theory, which continues to resurface. Going further than most, she alleged Jay-Z played a role in placing Aaliyah on that flight, framing it around personal motives and who gained afterward. None of this has been proven, but the claims continue to reappear because Jay-Z has never directly addressed them. Online, silence is rarely seen as neutral, it's viewed as intentional.
Think about this. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened, and yet they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
Another detail added to the scrutiny: when Diddy began facing charges and lawsuits increased, one name immediately caught attention: Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's personal attorney. Reports indicate he appeared within Diddy's legal circle. That led many to ask a straightforward question: why would Jay-Z's lawyer be involved at this stage?
That's suing Tony Busby. Spiro is a partner, and Alex Spiro is Jay-Z's personal lawyer.
Oh, so it's probably Jay-Z then that's doing the suing.
Of course they'd use Kevin's name, but it ain't Kevin. Why is Alex Spiro popping up everywhere?
What do you think is going on in Hollywood right now? What are you hearing? Because I'm hearing
Mass panic. Mass panic.
So because no one's talking publicly.
No, it can't. That's why they came up with the story. Well, you know, there's a party inside the Diddy party, and I went to the first party, but I left early. I never made it to Diddy After Dark. There were public relations teams right after Diddy got arrested running around telling everyone to say that.
Of course.
The question is this: if all you went to was the first party and you didn't know anything about the After Dark, why would you say, I left early? Why wouldn't you just say you left when the party ended?
Yeah, exactly.
Because how would you know that there was another party if you weren't informed?
Exactly.
If you went to the Diddy party and nothing happened and it was the first party, your speech wouldn't be, oh, well, I only went to the first party.
Right.
I didn't go to the after party. You wouldn't say that because you wouldn't have known about it. You would say, I don't know what anybody's talking about. I went to Diddy's party. It was a white party. It was dancing. It was wild. But at the end, we all went home.
Right.
That's not what y'all are saying.
Nope.
You're saying, I didn't go to the second party. I only went to the first. The only thing you're proving is that you're hiding being there.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have known about another part.
The theory being discussed is simple: shape the story early, before more names surface, because if Diddy ever speaks openly, several powerful figures could be affected. That's why attention keeps returning to Jay-Z's rise. You can't discuss that era without mentioning Big L. Big L helped open early doors, connected Jay-Z to Dame Dash, and negotiations were reportedly underway involving Big L and his circle. Then, shortly after those talks began, Big L was killed in a drive-by shooting in Harlem. The case remains unsolved. Jaguar Wright has suggested that his death may have been the first in a series of suspicious outcomes that conveniently removed obstacles for certain people. Coincidence? Possibly. But when timelines are compared, many say the pattern becomes uncomfortable. From there, the discussion moves to level 2, where influence outweighs fame. Oprah Winfrey and Clive Davis. In Oprah's case, critics point to her closeness to Harvey Weinstein, shared events, photos, and public support, even as rumors were already circulating. That's where criticism arises. Someone with her platform could have forced early accountability, but didn't. In these conversations, silence is often interpreted as protection. Then there's the school Oprah funded in South Africa. Early allegations, public response, staff dismissals, and official statements followed. Still, critics argue parts of the situation were never fully explained. That's why it continues to appear in discussions about responsibility, power, and oversight. Add resurfaced images and renewed speculation, and some describe Oprah as quiet influence, power that doesn't need attention, because decisions can be shaped behind closed doors. Now Clive Davis, a major industry figure. Arista Records, decades of leadership, careers launched. That history is exactly why people don't dismiss his name. Suge Knight has repeatedly claimed that Clive and Diddy's relationship went beyond mentorship, suggesting Clive himself described it as more than business. No public proof has been shown, just an allegation that keeps resurfacing because it aligns with the broader narrative. Diddy didn't rise alone. And when reporters attempted to question Clive about Diddy, people reference moments where he appeared uncomfortable and declined to respond. It's not evidence, but it becomes another clip the internet replays, treating it as a possible signal.
Favorite memory working with Diddy?
You know, personally, I've got to tell you, he really is a major star in this film tonight. He's his spokesman all the way through. I met him before I ever knew of him. I met him when he was 21 years old. And when we met, you know, he played me Craig Mack Flavor in Your Ear. He played me 3 cuts from the forthcoming Notorious B.I.G. album. And we talked for hours and hours about music, and I poured into his dream. And I financed Bad Boy Records. And we had an incredible run, an incredible period.
Then there's the Whitney Houston angle, another topic people haven't stopped questioning. Public discussion continues to focus on her final days, the people around her, the internal tensions, and whether the official explanation tells the full story. Over the years, comments from family members have added fuel to those doubts, and online conversations keep returning to one direct question. How has Clive been surrounded by serious rumors for decades without facing consequences? That's where the fall guy theory enters the conversation. Many believe Diddy is absorbing the public pressure, while the real power holders remain untouched, operating in spaces beyond media scrutiny. Now we reach what some call the top of the pyramid, and this is the name that surprises people the most: Bishop T.D. Jakes. Yes, a pastor and major spiritual figure, yet 50 Cent has repeatedly mentioned his name for months, keeping it part of the discussion. The theory itself is straightforward. If influence extends into religious leadership, then this goes beyond celebrity behavior. It becomes a system. The framing suggests Diddy needed credibility, protection, public respect, and association with someone widely trusted. Some claim this is where T.D. Jakes fits into the picture. People also reference how Jakes appeared during specific moments in the documentary rollout. Viewers noticed clips positioned at precise points, which many interpreted as intentional. In one moment, when Little Rod described waking up sore after being around Diddy's party environment, footage of T.D. Jakes appeared shortly after, speaking about love and energy. Many believe that placement was deliberate, suggesting a message rather than coincidence. Then, Katt Williams was brought back into the conversation. He previously stated that 2024 would be the year everything comes out, regardless of status. Online audiences treated that statement like a prediction.
Watch as Katt Williams calls out Bishop T.D. Jakes, and watch as T.D. Jakes and Gino
Was directly questioned about the Diddy allegations, his response intensified the situation. He did not issue a clear denial. Instead, he said, "Keep it moving," followed by remarks that people interpreted as dismissive. He added that even if something were true, repentance was possible, and then stated he didn't even need to repent in this case. That reaction caused the situation to escalate. To many viewers, it didn't sound like innocence. It sounded like avoidance. Jaguar Wright then added to the discussion. She claimed that if Bishop Jakes was ever present around Diddy's party circle, there were only two possible reasons: money or access. She described those environments as leverage points and alleged that video and audio recordings exist, showing influential individuals in situations they never wanted documented.
Jakes was at a Diddy party. There could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties: money and sex.
Cassie has turned over substantial amounts of evidence to the feds. I'm told that after Cassie had a long conversation with Blank, I have to protect this person. They're going through a lot right now. And her lawyers, she finally was convinced to give up the videotapes and audio recordings that contain.
Whether those claims are accurate is still unclear, but once the public believes evidence may exist, the concern shifts from rumors to potential footage. Jaguar continued, stating that multiple men have come forward with stories they believe link Jakes to that environment. No proof has been publicly released, only allegations, claimed testimonies, and insiders suggesting legal actions are unfolding privately. The story continues to spread because it fits the broader pattern people have been pointing to all along. Power protects power until it no longer can. Gene Deal added his perspective, questioning why a religious leader would be anywhere near parties described as morally questionable. He argued that such presence is difficult to justify unless someone is either supporting the environment or involved in it. He also suggested he's heard recordings may surface, and once they do, the discussion will move beyond speculation.
Diddy and T.D. Jakes.
Man, what I think about it is this, when I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You have to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin. Drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she. But maybe he'd have to lay some hands on somebody. Maybe he'd have to save some souls. I know he got a contract with Revolt, so I'm just like, it's just real strange that he would be found at any kind of Diddy party or any kind of place with Diddy unless it's in a business atmosphere.
So why do you think he was going to these parties?
I think that he's going to the Diddy parties, bruh. If he's going, well, we know he's going to the Diddy parties, and I know that I know what usually happens at the Diddy party, or when we told this happened at the Diddy parties. Maybe he needs to see it for himself, man. Maybe he needs to go there and really be involved in some things that could help save some individuals while they going to those parties.
That's the real issue looming over everything right now. Not opinions or online debates, but evidence. Now zoom out, because this discussion extends beyond a single industry. When Elon Musk appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast, the conversation wasn't centered on celebrity gossip. It focused on power structures and how influential figures operate. Elon didn't frame it as politics, he framed it as fear. Fear of exposure and fear of what happens when sealed systems open. Rogan mentioned Reid Hoffman and asked whether he appeared uneasy. Elon answered with a single word: yes. They then compared the system to an Epstein-style compromise model, the idea that once someone is captured in a compromising situation, control replaces persuasion. That concept sits at the core of this entire structure. Not fame, not talent, control. Viewed through that lens, many things start to make sense. why certain individuals stay silent, why some stories disappear, and why certain names remain protected regardless of public pressure. Dave Chappelle has described the industry in a similar way. He's spoken about it as a trap, not just restrictive contracts, but control itself. When asked why he didn't simply move elsewhere, he compared it to leaving one plantation for another. Different authority, same restraint. If someone at his level felt confined, it raises questions about everyone else trying to survive inside the system. This story is far from finished. More names will surface, more claims of footage will circulate, and people once considered untouchable may not remain that way. So here's the central question. Is TD Jakes actually the top of the pyramid, or just another layer shielding whoever sits above him? Share your thoughts below, and if this discussion caught your attention, the next video looks at who many believe could be next: Meek Mill, Ashton Kutcher, Naomi Campbell. The list continues to grow, and many believe the pressure is increasing. We'll be tracking every development as it unfolds. See you next time.